They're coming to get you, Barbara.
The Fear Central Radio Show. Warning, our content may include spoilers and is intended for mature audiences.
Hey fellow horror fans, welcome to the Fear Central Radio Show. I am your host Mike, and today, or this week, we've got, a lot of people sitting here.
Yes, sir.
New person that's going to be joining us this week, one of our avid listeners, Mr. Joe, all the way from his apartment.
This could be you too.
Good to be
if you
here.
would
Thank you.
give us some feedback.
He's not fake like you suggested last week.
Huh?
He's not fake like you suggested last week.
I didn't suggest that. I think Chris did.
Yeah, that was
Chris was like, I think this Joe's fake.
It's a mass hallucination.
That's a hell of a Kool-Aid I'm drinking.
That's what happens when you play with the Ouija board.
Right? So I am your host, Mike, and this week we've got
Paul,
Katie,
Tim?
Heather,
Monica.
Chris,
and Joe.
and Joe.
All right, so we thought we'd do something a little different this time. We tried to do this a while back on when we had our question period, and we're to let y'all ask us questions, and then thus we would answer them. And lo and behold, no one asked us a goddamn thing. So
What the hell were you guys doing?
so
We don't want an answer to that either.
Yeah, no. So we thought this week, since Joe is brand new to us, we let him, riddle us and see if we can answer his questions.
Okay.
Oh, so Joe's the Riddler tonight.
Joe's the Riddler tonight,
Okay,
yes.
awesome.
best Jim Carrey voice. Let's hear it.
Well, riddle me this.
That was all in the face.
Yes, it was.
It was.
But Jim Carrey is all in the face.
It's not what I want Jim Carrey in my face. Okay, so lo and behold, let's go. What do you think?
I'd like to do a round table.
Okay,
and
let's do
just ask a question and then everybody answer. And so, what was your the earliest horror film that really touched you, that really got you involved in the horror genre?
Okay.
Like, what was it and when?
Yes.
Okay.
Like the first one that cemented that, I like this.
Yes.
Oh.
Mine would have...
Okay.
What?
How old were you?
Which one?
Yeah, and there's only 7,000 versions.
She's talking the
Original.
Original. Black and white.
Okay, damn.
what was it? 1932.
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
But
Bela
no,
Lugosi?
it's not back then. It was on late night, and I remember sneaking down to watch it while my mom was asleep on the couch and praying to God she didn't wake up.
Okay.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Somebody's rattling chains in here.
Yes. It is getting close to Halloween.
It is.
Yep.
So.
Well, I was kind of a latecomer to horror, and
You're welcome, by the way.
yes, my best friend over here actually turned me the dark side. So I believe that mine would probably have had to have been, oh my goodness, it was a zombie movie, The Walking.
Night of the Living Dead.
Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead.
My husband and I went to see it when we were dating. It was one of
It
our
was the
first-
remake.
I was going to say that was that the remake?
Yes, it was the remake. And we went and
We
saw
were
it
dating
in
in the
theaters.
70s.
I wasn't even born in the 70s.
I'm just saying. It wasn't really necessarily like, like jump scare horror, I guess, but it was a horror movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Heather, you were saying?
Mine would have to be Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Halloween, the both of them at the same. My dad.
You watched them simultaneously?
Yeah, both at the same time. Wow.
2 TVs?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
okay.
one right after the other,
Right.
and we watched Halloween first, and then we watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I was probably in the 5th grade, and shortly thereafter, my dad went outside and
Grabbed a chainsaw?
he did, and
So he pulled a mic.
and full-on chainsawed my bedroom window. We lived out in the middle of nowhere, and I was terrified, and it just hooked me.
Nice.
You're right there, Monica?
It's really loud.
Yeah.
I like our sound effects tonight.
We have lots of sound effects tonight.
Yay, sound effects.
Devil dogs and...
No, I have to kind of pause right here for a moment because somehow I missed the fact that the great Toby Hooper passed away
Yes.
within the last month. So by the time we did our Texas Chainsaw show,
Which I missed.
the week
very
after.
week
So
after.
he heard our show and laughed himself to death. Is that what it was?
He didn't like the idea that I
Yeah.
put forward that it's
What?
Leatherface is just
She ruined
protecting
my
his property.
film. Nothing to do with him.
I totally missed that week. So vacation
Yeah.
and all
We
that.
took a different spin on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We both agreed, Katie and I, that it was just him protecting the house, and
Y'all are freaking crazy.
It was him protecting the house,
To be
and then
fair-
he was eating the victim.
exactly.
It was all them. It
Those
was all them
hippies
college
just
kids.
waltz right into his house one
They
after
do.
another.
They do, but
Yeah,
I mean, there is
suicide
no way
pact.
he's protecting it. He's just like, oh, look, fast food.
He looks pretty stressed out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tucker and Dale.
Tucker
It's
and
a
Dale.
Tucker and Dale situation.
There's all them college kids with their suicide pact
Yes.
walking in his house. All right, Tim.
I'd have to say Monster Squad.
Okay.
Oh, I love that movie.
How old
Yes,
were you?
I don't remember, but I was in daycare.
Oh wow.
Oh, well, okay.
We watched
Okay.
it at daycare.
So the werewolf had nards
Wait,
got
you
you.
watched
Yes.
that at daycare?
Yes.
What the hell kind of daycare did you go to?
No shit.
It was a great daycare.
It must have been that one that we saw online.
Right?
But did you know that movie used to be rated R, but now it's rated PG-13?
I
Surprise,
don't even know if
surprise
it's
there.
PG-13. I
I
think
think
it's
it's
PG.
PG. Yeah.
Well, the first time I saw it, it was rated R.
In your daycare.
Yes. It was one of those in-home daycare things.
Cujo
Goodness
over
gracious,
there.
we got all kinds of
Devil dogs,
Zools and devil dogs and
baby Cujos.
Baby Cujos
and we got all
going at
kinds
it.
of stuff over
Yeah.
there. Actually, Devil Dog is not exactly in the middle of that.
No,
She's pretty
no.
much just
It's-
passed out somewhere.
Zool and baby Cujo and forgot the other ones.
Baby Cujo's gonna get his butt beat.
Yeah. So in daycare. Okay.
Yes.
I like it.
Nice.
I like it. Katie,
No wonder why you're
you're
so
you're the newest latecomer to the
I
horror genre.
am the newest latecomer. So there was a long period where I had no interaction with it, but there was one positive interaction with it, and I was fascinated by the miniseries. I watched it when I was a junior in high school, and most people think it's horrible, but Rose Red. I loved it.
I love that one.
Loved
I
it.
wanted the
And
house.
and I did
I've
too.
been looking for those flowers that'll play that song forever.
We
Right?
nearly honeymooned at that house.
We almost did.
It's in
It's in
Washington.
outside of Seattle.
That's my kind
Yeah.
of honeymoon. right
And
there.
the fun part about it is it was actually a Tudor manor from England that they took down brick by brick and moved to outside Seattle.
Nice.
Yeah, 15th century Tudor manor.
When you say outside Seattle, you mean several hours drive outside of Seattle.
About an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Outside
outside
I
Seattle.
was outside Seattle.
Well, it's not inside Seattle, so
Right.
therefore it would be
Right.
outside of Seattle.
So then really those rooms did move.
Literally.
Yes. Yes.
For me, it was back when it was, of course, I'm the dinosaur of the group. So it was Halloween, TV edit version when I was 8 years old. So that had been 2 years after it released. About then, scared the shit out of me. The only movie that ever has. After that, I fell for horror, and then after that, it was just couldn't get enough. Had to get more and more and more. And then I guess my next venture into that would probably been Nightmare on Elm Street, and then Friday the 13th, and then more Halloween, and Hellraiser came along, and that became my ultimate favorite.
So, I got two that are probably responsible for me getting into horror that much.
I'm the first one.
My mom showed me House on Haunted Hill whenever I was about 5, I want to say. Something along those lines. just because it was coming towards Halloween, so she's like, I used to love this movie when I was a kid, so she showed that to me. She actually showed me Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte shortly thereafter, and I'm kind of surprised I had the patience level for that.
Yeah.
But loved both of those. There was a UHF station whenever I was living in San Marcos that would show epic movies every Friday night, and I would usually kind of just wear my mom down and saying, Mom, they're showing blah 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 tonight. You gotta. It's like, well, can I watch it? It's on TV, so it's got to be fine, right? And she'd be like, oh no. And then when I was 7, it's like, Mom, The Shining is on. Can I watch it? I'm sure it's great. It's fine. It's on TV, right? And Dad hated the movie actually. So she asked, so she knew Dad knew it. She's like, do you think it's fine? He's like, I don't know. I wouldn't watch it, but whatever. So I watched it. I was telling Monica about this right before we watched it last week. Because obviously the twins were etched into my brain after that first showing. But the thing that really burned into my brain, because I didn't understand what was going on in that scene, and because it's not necessarily violence, they left it in the TV cut. The old man reclined on the bed with the guy in the bear suit kneeled down in front of him. I had no idea what was going on that for a long, long time. And then
but it made you really uneasy.
And then I got to a teenager watching it. I'm like, oh, okay.
That was not exactly my giggle. I was buttering her up.
Oh, okay.
But
Texas Chainsaw Massacre up in
I've
here.
grown to love both those movies so much that they're comfort watches now.
Mm-hmm.
I can just put on either The Shining or the original House on Haunted Hill and just get completely relaxed. I'm like, old friends.
All right. So what about you, Joe?
It would have to be when I was real young, probably 5 or 6. Watched the original House of Wax.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It was one of those things that always stuck with me. The visuals and the whole thought of him taking people, and even at the end when he was trying to, that woman he kidnapped, trying to encase her in wax.
Yeah.
That was just always something that stuck with me as far as something that hit something that I had not ventured myself. So
have you been to a wax museum since?
I have, and it's been unsettling because it's not something that's a phobia of mine, but it's something that's in the back of my mind even to this day.
Wax museums are still creepy, anyways.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's why we love them.
Yeah.
Okay, and I guess I should have mentioned this before we really got going into the show. The reason several of us sound like we're across the room is because we have way more people than we have equipment tonight.
Yes, we do.
That's why some of them sound like they're
Sitting on the damn floor.
Well, you didn't have to sit on the floor. We gave you a chair.
Throwing a little bit of a hissy fit.
He's pouting.
It's the broken rolly chair that doesn't lift up, so it's all the way down as far as it'll go.
So he's on the floor.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. So what's next?
What was the biggest disappointment of a film that you, in a series or something that you were looking forward to, and why?
I can tell you right now.
Then tell us.
The name has completely eluded me.
Right away.
I haven't seen that one.
I told you.
I could have told you.
I haven't seen the
toothache
one name
is-
that leaves.
It's kicking my ass tonight. It's the one we just watched.
It?
No. The one you and I watched.
The House of Wax remade.
Yeah, no. The one you and I watched, and we wanted it to be so good, and it was so bad and so long.
Cure for Wellness.
Yes.
The Cure for Wellness,
I was
yes.
so wanting that to be so good, and it was so terrible.
As it was portrayed via the trailer.
Yes. I mean, in the beginning, a few parts in the middle, and then the ending smashed together would have been great. But there was so much
They drug it out too long.
extra.
No, it's like the director decided to make his
Like, there
director's
was no-
cut regardless.
Yeah, no edits. Nah, it's all good. Let's leave it in. It was. I so wanted it to be so good, and it had such high expectations, and it just left me hanging, and I didn't like that at all.
I'm still pondering, so.
Oh yeah.
My
Well, that was
answer's from video games.
Mine's the latest.
Yeah?
Silent Hill is one of my all-time favorite game series. Konami has run that damn thing into the ground with all the like smash cuts of everything has to have Pyramid Head, even though he had a specific function in the second game, and then people liked him, so we're just going to keep throwing him everywhere.
I was really disappointed by those movies as well.
The first movie has good atmosphere. The plot's, well, whatever it is, it's all over the place in relation to the game. My biggest disappointment in a series, though, has to go to Silent Hill Homecoming, because it was the first Silent Hill game we got in high def. And I was so looking forward to the transition, seeing the world deteriorate around it, and like all the ash come up and everything, the siren, and it did that very well.
And that's all it did very well.
That's all it did right. Because that game series always tried to struggle with what to do with combat, so they made him a veteran in that game, and it was just battle after battle after battle, and the frickin' things kept respawning, and there was no tension to be had in the entire game, and they completely went into this whole other plot line, other town, basically, and it just didn't feel right at all.
I feel the same way about the Resident Evil games. I mean, they started off being that truly horror, and now they're gone into just an action game.
Revelations and Revelations 2 are a little bit of a throwback to the original formula, but I definitely understand what you're saying. Though the new one is definitely more horror than it is action. Yeah. The Biohazard.
Anybody else?
Yeah. Okay. So this is one probably not many people have heard of, because it is a sci-fi show or sci-fi movie. So growing up in a super, super religious household, I looked for anything and everything that had bearing to what I knew, right? So there was a sci-fi movie called Monster Ark that came out whenever I was in high school.
I have actually seen said movie.
It is awful. Oh my gosh. And I was so excited for it because sci-fi hyped it up so much about what it was going to be, and I was all excited about this, this alternate idea that the Noah's Ark was carrying monsters and that they had to stay locked up within it, and that we were looking for Noah's Ark, put it in danger, and
I wish I could have heard that conversation with your dad.
Yeah. We didn't have that conversation. that was not one that happened. So, yeah. But yeah.
Okay. Honey?
There's 3 movies.
3.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Which one?
The remake?
Original.
She didn't like the original, which is completely retarded.
Okay,
but
it's
she
not
made us
that-
watch that one that was Canadian, and she
Whoa.
loved it.
Hold it. Okay, first of all, it was pretty much everybody talks about it like it's this basically holy grail of the cults, and honestly, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, okay. Guy comes out with chainsaw, hacks into pieces. It was just
But
a lot
Grandpa.
of hype built up to it.
But Grandpa.
And the one we watched where the people got lost in the swamp and the guy was supposedly coming out to kill kill couples to find a wife, and it was a gator guy or something like that.
Hatchet?
No, it wasn't
Okay,
Hatchet. It was
good.
something else. And at the end of the movie, he takes a girl, impregnates her, and that's the end of the movie.
I have no idea what movie that is.
We all watched it. It was a long time ago.
I thought you were about to say it was a long movie,
it
2.5 hours long.
Way too long.
I don't remember this.
Watched it.
Gator guy? Like he's part gator?
Like he
Like Cajun from the
he
swamp?
was a Cajun guy, and like
Was he a
he
lumberjack?
ate a lot of alligators or something like that, and he just slowly became more gator than human, and
Heather, do you remember this?
took on that.
She said we watched it over here.
I have no idea.
No, I've never heard of that.
I want to see what that Google search that Heather's
Yeah.
Gator couples,
Anyways,
impregnates woman.
Yeah, it was super stupid. Yeah, because
Fast Fingers is on the case.
there's a scene where he has a chick, and you think that he's going to impregnate her, and she ends up kicking his ass and running away. And
Don't forget
she
to put that part
escapes
in.
with her boyfriend.
So he's really trying to impregnate people for
He
a large
is.
portion
He's going
of that
after
movie.
like redheads, and this chick that he ends up impregnating is a freaking blonde. So it
Lower
totally,
the standards.
it totally, it was just stupid as shit.
Well, the brunette won't have me.
But yeah,
don't
it
hold
was,
me
it
to
was
me,
extremely
daylight.
stupid. And of course, I hate Snow Shark, but
Yeah.
I was
Well,
2 minutes in and I lost 2 hours of brain cells.
yeah, it was ended.
We need to take a poll and
What was
have
that?
people email us if they can
Christmas
actually
tree
finish
one?
the movie Snow Sharks.
Yeah, there you go. I
All
like
right?
it. Yeah.
Have a contest.
What was the Christmas tree show that we watched?
Oh, yes, there we go.
Revenge.
But that was
Yeah.
only 12 minutes long.
That was
huh?
only 12 minutes long.
We finished that one.
If it was much longer, we wouldn't have been able to.
Probably not. Yeah, y'all weren't here for Christmas for that, were you?
No.
No, yeah.
Oh, that
Look
was
it up
so
on
bad.
YouTube.
Okay.
Treevenge.
Revenge.
Yeah.
I was just telling Joe we'll make Snow Sharks our next drinking movie.
Oh, God.
I don't think that would help.
Anytime you see snow,
There's a fin above the snow.
drink.
Yeah.
So
We wouldn't last very long.
I think I know what Mike's answer is.
What do you think? Because I don't know.
The question is movie in an established series that disappointed you.
I know which one.
That accounts remakes.
There's
Oh, there's
one
tons
in,
of remakes.
There's one in your favorite series, Hellraiser.
Oh, I hated that one.
And then there's
I
Halloween.
hated the Friday the 13th
Yeah,
one. I didn't
that was
like the
what I
Rob
was about
Zombie
to
one.
say.
The witch
Yeah.
one.
I was about to say
That's
Rob
Halloween
Zombie's
3.
Halloween,
Well,
probably.
and
Oh, well,
3.
okay, yeah.
What about
There's-
Jason in space?
It is not
I
called that.
That would make no sense.
Uber Jason was
called Jason
awesome.
10
Jason is the bomb.
because it's Roman.
It wasn't
Uber.
Jason 10, it was Jason X.
Jason X.
It's Roman.
Because he was extreme.
I mean,
He did the do.
it's Uber Jason. We had this conversation earlier. It's Uber Jason.
He gave you cannibal
But
salad
yes,
in that one.
I would probably have to say that Halloween 3 was probably a big disappointment. Because then you're already caught into the emotion where you're expecting another Michael Myers, and all of a sudden you're like, and you're like, what the hell is that?
No, the most disappointing would have to be the new Poltergeist.
I haven't watched that,
I haven't watched it.
but her name is Carol Ann.
No.
Do remakers? Her name is Carol Ann.
It is Carol Ann, not. What did they call her?
I don't even remember
Madison.
what.
Maddie.
Yeah.
Madison. That's what they called her in the remake.
I bet the clown wasn't even as scary as in the first one.
No, it wasn't.
Mm-mm. That's why I also haven't watched the Evil Dead remake.
Which one?
The first Evil Dead remake. Because I hear that the tree rape
the
scene
series
isn't as
was
good.
okay.
The what?
Ash versus Evil Dead?
Yeah.
The what scene?
The tree rape scene.
Oh, I don't know.
There's not a tree rape scene.
Not in the remake from what I hear.
No, there's not. No.
Yeah, so. I mean,
maybe
how
try
can you
to
do
More
that
what's
to
going
him?
on with that movie than tree rape.
And of everything in that movie, that's the only thing he remembers.
The ending's what I always remember.
Well, no, I also remember, we ain't gonna get you, we ain't gonna... From the cellar. I want to say I remember the deer head laughing, but I think that was 2.
That was 2.
Yeah. So, okay.
Next question.
No, he's got to answer. He has to answer his own questions.
Come on, Joe.
I think for me, even though it wasn't a series, it was just kind of a general grouping. I was going through as a kid Stephen King movies, and they all have their ups and downs. And you see the good spots in some of them. And you say, "Wow, that could use some work." But the one that I found no redeeming factor in at all was Sleepwalkers.
What?
It's a good movie, though.
It failed on every level for me.
Okay.
I've heard.
Why?
Well, I
because
guess-
it was originally supposed to be just a play, and it turned into a short.
Well, I guess,
That was supposed
as
to be
big as
a
a reader
play?
as you are, I could see where, the movie version could really taint you. And
Yeah, it just...
I was the same way with Pet Sematary.
Well, just looking at it just as a story, it just didn't quite make sense. The effects were awful. And the things that they decided to... Their big crux of the story was just... I was having none of it. So
He's hardly the first person I've heard say that about that movie, though.
Yeah.
It's the one with the cat people, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got
it's
the,
the,
the
got the
incest.
mother-son couple.
The incest cats, it freaks
Yeah,
me out.
incest
Yeah.
Wasn't it the one that also had the, what was it, a banana death or something? What was that? She picks up something to kill the girl's dad. And it was some weird, like a chicken bone or a banana or something.
There's a little bit of a difference between a chicken bone and a banana, Mike.
Could have been an orange.
It's
Oh, no, it was a corn on the cob. That's what it was. She killed him with a corn on the cob in the back of the neck.
Oh, yeah, something about
In
not
the study
eating his vegetables
by
or
Colonel-
something.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Colonel Sanders?
No, it's in the study by
Redenbacher?
Colonel Mustard. Colonel Mustard. That's it. Mustard.
Yeah, there you go.
Corn on the
Colonel
cob.
Mustard.
Corn on the cob in the neck. In the
It was
study.
Colonel Sanders in the bureau with a chicken bone.
Okay, next question.
okay, kind of more of an abstract question. Which horror world setting
Okay.
would you want to be in yourself? That you think you'd be really
Like trapped in or control?
either or? It's more about
If you had to live, I think what he's saying is if you had to live in a horror movie world, which one would it be?
yeah.
Zombieland.
I can dig it.
You would kill Bill Murray.
Yeah, you would.
No,
Yes.
I like Bill Murray.
As
I,
he has
So
the-
did Jesse Eisenberg.
I would not
Grin
have
on
killed
his
Bill Murray.
face.
I don't think any of us will be the Jesse Eisenberg of that movie. So
No.
that's fine.
No.
Katie.
Well, I'm thinking.
She doesn't have as many to choose from as we do.
No, I really don't. And from what I can tell, given my status as a married white woman, that there are several different franchises that I would not survive in. So, my only shot is Rose Red, where I become a vampire.
Okay.
And leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We live in Dublin, so I'm going to go with Tucker and Dale.
I heard my dog.
I'm gonna get
I'm gonna get real mad. You heard my dog. You heard my dog.
How'd it do, officer?
There's a doozy
Had a
of a
doozy
day.
of a day. All them college kids killing themselves all over my property. Suicide pact.
Seriously, if you haven't seen it,
Watch
Go
it.
watch
Yeah,
it.
yeah, go get it.
Pause it right now. We'll wait.
No, you'll wait.
All right, Heather.
They should be back now.
Let's see.
Would you live in Haddonfield
I don't. Only if I was
or
only if I-
Raccoon City?
Only if I was Michael Myers.
Illinois.
You ever live in Raccoon City?
No. No.
No, she wants to live in the eight-legged freaks.
No, ma'am.
Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers.
oh, if looks could kill.
We are not allowed to watch that in my house anymore.
We just watched it. So.
She beats up her husband when she
Okay,
watches
okay. So
Physically.
let me preface this. It was
Here's
back
a
when they
extra trivia for you.
when it first
came out.
When it first came out.
well, not really, but when the first
first
time I
time you
watched
watched
it, the doctor had put me on a new sleeping medicine. Well, this also had some other things that we won't go into on the air. But anyways, so we watched it one night, and I took my medicine. I went to bed. Well, apparently, I pinned my husband under the covers and commenced to whooping the shit out of him. I mean, full on punching. He has a sleep apnea mask. I popped him in the face with it, and of course, he was like cuddled up in the covers, and I rolled on top of the covers, so he was pinned and he was not moving. I'm no longer allowed to watch that movie.
Needless to say, your husband's not a small guy either.
He is not. He is not a small
For
man.
him
So
to-
it's.
you literally whooped the shit out
I mean,
of him.
I really did. I whooped the shit out of him.
He's not a bug.
No, he's not. But I sure as hell thought he was. No, I'm trying to think. What would I want to, like, if I had to, like, be in control? I think I'd want to be Jason.
Okay, so
Like Uber Jason. I'd want to be Uber Jason.
So you want to be in space?
Yes. But if it was something where I had to like live and deal with, I think I'd have to go with Tucker and Dale.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's just, you know.
Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else? I'm still thinking. I don't know where I want to live.
If I could control it, I'd want the cabin in the woods.
So you want to be in there making the bets.
Oh, hell yes. I'd be the one pushing the button.
Okay.
Yeah, but all those people got killed.
Yeah,
The ones that were
they all
pushing-
died. They were in control.
16 of these.
At least
Spoiler
I died
alert.
with a unicorn, okay?
They learned the John Hammond lesson.
But if it was to survive, I'm placing bets and going with Rose Red.
Rose Red?
Right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. More likely to survive, right?
So it's been a while since I watched Rose Red.
It's a gorgeous house. Get to live forever in it.
Mm-hmm.
Eats the guys. I'm okay with that.
I was about to say I don't think
with
there are
that.
any couples in Rose
No,
Red.
there are
so
no males.
I can't do that. Okay, have fun on your own, I guess. This is most interesting places that I can think of from the world of horror. In the Mouth of Madness from John Carpenter would be a very interesting place, but it would also be pretty
Sorry, my kids.
It'd also be pretty horrifying. So I'm gonna cheat, and I'll say Castle Rock. A lot of stuff happens in Castle Rock across a lot of different stories. So
That's true.
I think I know where I really want to live, other
Where?
than Tucker and Dale. I want to live at Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
Totally be my place.
just stay in the castle.
Yes.
I just
Okay,
knew you.
that's it.
I just knew you were going to say
get
you wanted to
Rose
be
Red. I'm going
Betty
with
White
Rose
and Lake Placid.
Okay.
I knew she was going to go. I
Sexual
want to be Betty White and
Revolution
Lake Placid. I hope they
Council.
can eat your friends. Let's see.
Oh, come on. You know you want to control the Cenobites.
No, I'd be Pinhead.
You just got your wish.
Sign.
This is not big, Tim. No, as far as living in a location that has, Now, if I could be McCready, I would live in John Carpenter's The Thing. If it was one I could control, or had, possibility of survival.
I don't assume that he survived the end of that movie, though.
Nope, me either.
He did, because
He survived
sequel
to the
was actually-
credits.
the sequel is actually a video game, and he's in it.
All right, Joe. What about you?
It's been tossed around a lot, but probably Haddonfield. I love Halloween. I'd love to be Donald Pleasant's assistant.
Love for Donald Pleasant.
help Boompaw fight evil. Go on a road trip.
There you go. Can't beat that.
I like to imagine that Dr. Loomis is actually just kind of like senile. They're just kind of like placating him a little bit. He's evil! Evil, I tell you! We know. Yes.
Now take your medicine and sit down.
Time for your Skittle, Dr. Loomis.
You keep saying that about all your patients.
How did the speech go, Heather? When I looked in his eyes.
Oh my god, I went completely blank.
That's not how it goes.
Yes, I know, but you got to remember, I've taken medicine because I have a severely bad toothache, so I'm just kind of.
She's heavily medicated.
I am heavily
Yeah.
medicated.
Oh no, he's going to revoke your box set and get your birthday gift.
Well, that just means I have to watch it again.
There you go. All right.
I mean, come on.
All right.
Yes, that
Okay.
was my favorite. I loved my birthday gifts very much.
All right.
Carry on.
Okay. Oh, yes. Happy birthday, Heather, this week. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
That's 2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks
I know.
in a row we've had a birthday.
Yeah.
Great, good stuff.
It's good stuff. We got another one next month.
Yeah, we do. And then one after that, and one after that. We'll see.
There's always
There's one
birthdays.
next month, and then there's one in November, and then there's 4 in December,
Wow.
and then one in January. Yeah, see, we've got just one after another.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Okay. Which horror trope or concept do you think has not been developed well lately, or at all? Something that's you wish that you see something, so you see a little bit of it, and say, "Wow, this would be the best thing ever," but you just don't see it developed.
Female serial killers.
Yep.
Has there ever been a good one in a movie? Other than
I personally have never seen one in a movie.
Charlize Theron, when she
Yeah.
played, was it Monster Ball?
Yeah. No,
Is that-
just Monster.
No, Monster.
Because
yeah.
she was portraying.
Eileen Wuornos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Arlene Wuornos.
I liked that one.
Bloody
Um,
Carrie?
You got
Carrie's not really a serial killer.
not really serial
you
killer.
got
Yeah.
the Lifetime
American
Lifetime
Psycho
Empowerment
2
Lizzie
was
Borden
pretty good.
series.
the original Friday the 13th.
True.
Oh yeah,
Voorhees,
Mrs. Voorhees.
But is that serial murderer or serial killer?
Well,
There is a difference.
I know.
I would say murder.
Yeah, movie maniacs aren't really serial killers.
Yeah.
Because they're not methodically
Right.
planned.
I
But
think-
y'all did just hear Chris say she liked American Psycho 2.
I did. I thought it was pretty unique in the way they developed her character and the fact that, in the session, he was going, well, who do you want to be? And she was like, I want to be in Quantico, and if I could be anybody elder than me, I want to be her. And then it shows you towards the end, her being there and how she took it.
Okay.
So it's actually quite unique. Although
Okay.
I think some of the kills were a little stupid in the dialogue, but other than that,
Okay.
The argument could also be made
That she was trying to protect her apartment.
no.
that
It's also
Patrick Bateman has 2 personalities, and he kills as a woman.
This is true.
So the argument could be made, and I'm not sure how successfully, but it could be made that is an instance of a successful serial killer,
in
female serial killer.
In what facet was his feminine? What is his femininity in that movie?
Well, the persona that he kills in is the mother.
You're talking about Psycho.
Yes,
you said
Psycho.
You said Patrick Bateman. That's American
dang
Psycho.
it. Wrong names. I'm sorry. Bates Motel. It starts with
Norman
a B.
Bates.
Bait was in there. Like, okay.
I knew where she was going with it.
Two
So.
hookers
See?
and then
Okay.
kills people.
Okay.
Yeah,
I knew
no,
where
in
she was
Psycho,
talking
like,
about.
he kills as a woman, like,
He kills us
as his mother. As a different persona entirely. And then that depends on how split the psyche is to determine whether it is a female killing or if it is just him impersonating
I think
his
it
mother.
was that if he felt any attraction towards that person, he switched to the mother persona that was the dominant and took it upon.
Now, I personally
Right.
haven't seen the series. It's just supposed to explain all this stuff. So
The
I don't
TV
know.
series has nothing to do with the series
Nope,
of the
they're
movies.
separate.
It's completely different.
In television, there have been a few good episodes about female serial killers. Hannibal has a really good one in the first season. Amanda Plummer plays a woman who systematically kills entire families to abduct one of the children that she adds to her own.
Criminal Minds also follows a Romani family that
Yeah.
abducts a girl to be their son's bride, and that child is raised to be the bride.
Yep. I remember
So.
that one.
and then they kill the ones that don't fit the mold.
Right.
So
Okay.
What was the original?
I personally,
Concepts that haven't been fleshed out.
Crush was good if you want to beat that one.
what?
Crush.
I haven't seen that.
Good.
think that filmmakers in general have really dropped the ball on the werewolf.
That was my answer.
You know, in the 80s you had The Howling and American Werewolf in London, and there was a really good story base for werewolves. But since then, it's like once we hit the 90s, it was like werewolves only exist to fight vampires, or not. Howling, that was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, The Howling Reborn, I don't know if you've seen it, did a real good job at trying to bring that subgenre back. Other than the fact it came out only on VOD, not to a theater, probably why it didn't succeed at that. But I think the werewolf could be re-envisioned and brought back into the light and made it. I mean, other than what Underworld did to it, or Twilight.
Frickin' Twilight.
Twilight was.
Twilight.
She called it werewolves, and then she
starts in the first book calling them werewolves, and then by book 3 she backtracks and said, "Well, they're not really werewolves; they're shapeshifters." So
Twilight is not really horror anyway.
no, it's not.
But it still deals with. It's still like one of the only things we've got for werewolves right now.
It is
Right.
not the only thing we have.
Underworld.
It's just in recent
Underworld.
years.
Well, you're also seeing
The flat-out best presentation of werewolves that's been in the last 15 years is a British show.
I don't know, Ginger
Being
Snaps did
Human.
pretty good.
Being Human.
Oh,
Oh.
that's an excellent
They
show.
actually have an American
The
and a British
description
version.
of whatever his name is, whenever he was talking
Yes.
about turning into a werewolf,
Yes.
it is
Being Human?
It is horrific. Like, he talks about the way all of his bones have to systematically break every single
Yes.
time.
And how
Yeah.
painful
And, like,
it is.
how painful
and
it is, and, like, how just, like, every physiological change that he feels in his body.
And that how
And-
he can't control it. And
I also think they're trying
That
to
is
make
the
a good comeback for the werewolf with Midnight Texas.
Well, the guy's not a werewolf though.
He's
Pastor?
a were-tiger.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. He is a were-tiger.
the author's
Let's just say lycanthropy in general.
the author's going to be in Granbury on September 30th.
I know.
You
Do
can
you hear that,
ask
Heather?
I did not.
Yeah, the paranormal
Are we going?
expo that
Let's
I was
go.
talking about.
Let's go.
We should do it.
I'm
It's
going.
Cranberry.
The 30th?
Yeah.
I'm going to go
Let's
do
do it
that.
live.
I'm going to go do that, and then I'm going to go to Painting with a Twist and paint myself into a zombie.
Okay.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, I mean, literally, that's what it is. Is paint
Okay.
yourself
Is
zombie.
that what it is that day? Nice.
Paint
So
yourself
yeah,
zombie.
I think the werewolf could be explored better and re-envisioned.
oh yes.
I mean, like I said, Ginger Snaps did a pretty good job of it,
Yeah.
I love all three of those.
yeah.
Those are great.
but not many movies have. Because if you look at even a lot of the apocalyptic films coming out now, they're turning into vampires. Snake Land.
It's either vampires or zombies.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So, all right, who's next? Who's next?
So, I think there's. I don't know, but because I don't have as much exposure, but I think would be a interesting thing to explore is postpartum psychosis from the perspective of a child. It would be terrifying.
Or Munchhouse.
And
Munchhouse by proxy.
Munchausen by proxy.
So,
Yeah.
Babadook.
No,
That's supposed to be what that movie's about.
That's from the mother's perspective,
Yeah, I'm talking about from the child's perspective, where your caregiver loses it.
and you're witness to it.
So the entire movie follows the kid rather
Yeah,
than you're feeling for the kid.
Yep.
right. Well, you feel for the kid because you're experiencing what the
Well,
kid
you feel for
experiences.
the kid. Like, I mean, he's annoying, but you feel for the kid in the Babadook. His mother's unhinged.
No,
The creature's not a real thing.
I just thought that movie was way the hell too long.
The
Anyway,
idea
just
that
a-
your mother goes nutso on you and goes into all that type of stuff, that is a frightening concept.
Mm-hmm.
We have to introduce Paul to my mother.
Yes.
I can see what she's saying though. I just had a movie in mind, and I lost it.
I loved going to see The Conjuring with all the kids that have been dragged into the audience from the parents that were not paying attention.
Oh my gosh!
Because there were like right before the movie started, there was a 4 or 5 year old that was already crying from the first shot of Annabelle, and then I just heard kind of like whimpering, and looked over and saw this kid who's like. No, he was like trying to put on the brave face, because his dad was looking irritated as hell. He's like, "It's fine, Daddy. It's fine. This doesn't scare me. We can go back. We'll go back and watch it." And he ended up going back to the seats, and like in front of me was a 6 or 7 year old girl, and like the way that movie ends with mother chasing her kid around, trying to kill her in the basement of that house. I'm like. Good luck if your kid has a nightmare and say, "It's fine, Mommy's here."
I don't want Mommy.
Daddy? Daddy?
Yeah? So I can't remember the name of that movie. I just had it in my head. Because like the Omen and stuff almost kind of portrayed from the kid's point of view versus, there was even scenes within The Ring where the lady's son watches the tape and it kind of follows him a little bit and based on his.
Mm-hmm.
So I see what she's saying.
Yeah, but dealing specifically with postpartum, feeling unwanted by someone who's supposed to be your primary caregiver.
It's supposed to love you, yeah.
Yeah.
And they do that a lot in the Criminal Minds.
Yeah, they do.
I know there's a movie I've seen within the last 4 or 5 years that was specifically addressed postpartum, but I can't think of what the movie is.
Shutter Island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah.
Yup.
Anybody else?
Why y'all
I want them to make a movie that I don't see everything coming.
Okay.
Red
Good
State.
luck with that one.
Red State was pretty good.
Red State was specifically written by Kevin Smith in 15-page chunks, and every time he got to that 15-page mark, he'd say, "Okay, where do I see this plot? Where do I see this plot going now? Because I'm going to go the exact opposite way."
Yeah.
Yep.
But no, not like the plot, but like every kill or jump scare, you can almost predict exactly when they're going to happen in every movie now.
Yeah.
I personally like James Wan for that because if there are jump scares in his movies, he doesn't let the scene die there.
Right.
Like, it's not just jump scare, ha ha ha, everybody in the theater goes, "Oh great, that was fun." Like, back to Conjuring. Whenever it got to that scene whenever the daughter's being jerked off the bed. Mm-hmm. Like in the showing I was in, it got to, it has that really tense buildup of there's someone standing there in the corner, they're right behind you, and then the door slams shut on them, and that scene just kind of ends in the middle of it. Nothing gets resolved. But like everybody in the screening we went to see it was like, "Ha ha ha, oh," and I'm just sitting there going,
Nothing has been resolved.
Nothing got better. Why does it? Was like everybody's like, "Woo!"
Yeah. It was kind of that. It was kind of that way a little bit in Annabelle Creation, also, right, Heather?
Yeah.
Where it was like the build up to the jump scare, and then there was a jump scare, but it wasn't like the end of the scene.
Yeah.
It just kind of moved on to something else somewhere
But
else.
you could always see it coming.
That's you think Hitchcock for that. That's suspense. It's
Yeah.
to build you up, and then if something doesn't really happen, then you're like,
I think because for some people, the suspense is scarier than the jump scare itself.
right.
So
there's the 3 elements surprise. It's the setup.
I just feel disappointed by all the setup that they do. Showing all of the jump scares in the freaking preview for the movie.
That
Yeah,
that is
that-
the problem.
Putting all those points into the into the
Absolutely.
trailer, and then you watch it, and you're like, I saw the movie in the trailer.
So actually,
Okay.
know
it's
what's
not
about to
only
happen.
so much that you're watching the movie and you're seeing the jump scares. It's the fact that you've already seen it.
Well, that's why for like it, I didn't watch a single preview for it other than a teaser trailer that first came out.
So you didn't watch any of the official trailers?
No, I did not, because I didn't want to see any of it.
Okay.
And I still felt like, even they had a few jump scares in it, it was too predictable.
They did a good job with the promotional campaign for it, because they only really showed 3 of the scares in that entire trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is one that everybody knows. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, the sewer scene. Yeah, we all know that's
Right.
there.
Yeah, we all know that's going to happen.
I'm glad they started with that.
Yeah.
Like, that was first scene 1 in the movie. I'm like, yes, get it out of the way.
Exactly.
We all know that's happening.
And we're going to make it so much worse than it was the first time around on screen.
Yeah. So, all right. What do you think? I gave your answer, didn't I?
Yeah, I think that I agree.
You know, something that I would kind of like to see is some new ideas. It seems like in the film industry right now that everything is being redone. Okay, so we've got a new It. It's great. I liked it. I thought it was wonderful. I thought they did a good job. However, there's already a Stephen King's It out there. Okay, let's come up with some new ideas. There's a Jason. Okay, let's move on. We've already seen it. It's already been done.
Come up with some new franchises.
New, fresh ideas. I mean, come up with some more werewolf movies.
Yep.
I mean, just introduce some new characters, because right now what it seems like is that
Wolf
there's...
Cop by any means. Let that
Oh,
die.
not Wolf Cop? Oh, come
Let
on.
it die.
But I mean, it seems like there's so much repeat right now,
Well,
even though they're revamping it.
I'll tell you why. It's the Hollywood money-making machine.
It's
I do
safer.
not have to put $1 bajillion in my advertising campaign now because their parents have already told them about it, or they saw it on TV or whatever.
That's
And this is
true.
a new and re-envisionment for you guys.
It's also a safer bet. I'm not going to invest
Absolutely.
in things I don't know that's not going to hit right.
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 Yeah.
It's like going to the casino and pulling.
Right, but
But-
as a consumer,
Right.
But we're
I
not going to
myself
make it
would
the
like
same.
some new ideas.
Well,
Yeah.
the new ideas, they get a cult following, but they don't make huge bank.
Right.
The most popular fan favorite movies of last year were like It Follows and Babadook from the year before and everything like that. Those got a lot of buzz, word of mouth. They didn't do anything in the box office.
Did nothing in the box office. But then now, it's like Halloween, Friday the 13th, those movies, they didn't do a lot in the box office. But now, 35 years later, here we are. We still got them. We know who they are. Kids know who Jason is. They never saw a movie, but they know who Jason is.
You'll occasionally get a crossover hit of like a major blockbuster movie that's actually like a trendsetter. Like you'll get an Exorcist, or you'll get an Omen, or something along those lines. But they're very few and far between because Hollywood does not want to invest the money on things they don't know.
Yeah.
The Conjuring hit pretty well.
Yeah.
Probably.
Conjuring.
We've started
but it
a new
seemed like
franchise
there for a while,
now.
like we got The Ring, we had a bunch of those
Grudge.
like cult type movies.
Like the-
Those are all remakes of Asian films
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like
they
Final
were new
Destination
to
was fairly original.
Huh?
Us.
Like the Final Destination series, that was fairly original. The
First
Saw
one, yeah.
series.
Well,
was
Final
fairly original.
That was
Destination
James
wasn't
Wan,
really
man.
original.
Yeah.
If you
The
think about it,
original's
it's
good.
pretty
Like I
much
said, the
like
original.
The Faces of Death.
Kinda.
So, I mean...
Saw had enough going for it that it was semi-unique the first time around.
Hostel.
Right. Well, the first time I saw, I didn't see any of the things coming that came in that movie.
Right.
That's what made that one so good.
It's a movie you expect to be horrifically violent too, and there's really not much blood in it at all.
Not in the
Right.
first one.
No.
Unfortunately.
No, they just started upping the ante every
Yeah.
sequel they could.
Right.
Well, isn't that the
more
rule?
dismemberments this time?
Isn't that the rule?
Yeah.
Sequel has to be more body count, more blood, more,
That applies to every genre.
Yeah.
Like we want to show you more of what you saw the first time, instead of saying, "Hey, how about you show us something new you didn't show us the first time?"
Right.
Or maybe not do another sequel.
Yeah.
Like we needed The Strangers 2.
No, we don't.
Right.
We didn't need The Strangers 1.
It was so
and
unique.
honestly, I think
Teenagers
that's-
broke into a house.
But this is where I really like the Duffy Brothers, because Stranger Things is something new and unique, yet
Yes.
it reinvents something from the past.
Right.
So, I mean, it's
a fresh repurposing, is the way I'd put most of it.
See, that's what I want in the movies. I don't mind them coming back out with the same characters and stuff. I want something new to it.
Write us something, damn it.
You don't want to see what's in my mind.
sure I do.
You know what I would love? You know what I would love?
What?
Because you only have a foreign film that's handled it really that I can think of off the top of my head. Troll Hunter. Troll Hunter was pretty damn epic, and it was like,
The
but it was
graphics were pretty good too.
But it was pretty tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
But after playing The Witcher, all that lore from that whole part of the world, like Scandinavia and all that type of stuff, that's rife with a whole bunch of really dark mythology that you could do things with. You could make something like The Witch and put in stuff like botchlings or lubberkins or any of that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Like really horrifically dark backstories.
Yeah. Which I think is why The Witch did what it did, was because it was a fresh look at witchcraft and stuff like that. Where, you know, today, just like any other company or business out there, it's all about the
Making
bottom dollar.
money.
Yeah. So how am I going to do that? Well, if I can cut costs on my marketing and just tweak it a little bit so the kids today can get into it, then there we go. Let's go with that. We're going to make a Poltergeist. We don't like Caroline. We're going to call her Madison.
Because that's more hip. That's
Yeah.
more now.
Nobody knows Caroline.
Yeah,
I might as
what's
well call
funny
her-
is that movie did flop
Yeah, it did.
Oh, yeah.
It did.
Oh, yeah.
because it was terrible.
Yeah, a lot of remakes. You don't see a lot of them really bringing in the bank.
It's a waste of good celluloid.
Right? Other than the ones that had a huge cult following, like It. It was probably the largest horror movie opening weekend.
It was.
Ever.
Yeah, ever.
Yeah.
But the safe bets make enough that they continue with it.
Yeah.
The Omen, Amityville Horror.
Right.
No.
Oh, come on, I want to get the Amityville toaster.
No.
It makes it scary.
So, okay.
Even though we're a pretty stalwart crew here, what scene in particular of any horror movie has been the most unsettling? Maybe not even a scare, but if it's a scare, good. But just unsettling. It just works on your psyche.
Amityville 2, the opening scene, the eyes in the basement.
Okay.
I can't handle it.
All right.
Mine would have to be that. You and I have talked about that movie with the was it Dead Girl?
Huh.
That whole film is just like, what the hell?
That's just a need a shower movie.
Yeah, and I think that pretty much answers the question. I mean, it just
Such a sweet movie. Watch it every Valentine's Day.
do you? Yeah. Have you looked for that abandoned warehouse?
So I have one standard scene that's in lots of different things and one unique thing. Okay, so the standard is always something moving in the dark near a bed. Like where the position is, you are the person in the bed and you see something move in the shadow. Always gets me. Every single time.
She make you wear bells at night?
No, he's the one that makes us sleep with the closet all the way closed because of
Freddy the Closet Monster there, are you,
Man
Paul?
by Stephen King.
I can pull it out. It's on my
No,
Kindle.
you put that away. We don't want to see that.
It's pretty awful.
At the table.
No, we were thinking about doing Stephen King this time around, so I reread The Boogeyman to her.
It's pretty bad.
It's a pretty horrific
It is
story
told a man confessing his crimes to a therapist.
of losing his 3 children.
3 children who he did it,
He
but
said-
not the way you think.
Right. The boogeyman in what it's described is like they say that they keep saying that the closet door was open just a crack, just enough for something to slither out. And the way they describe the boogeyman is like this scarecrow loose head with like seaweed hair or whatever with these horrifically long claws
Claws.
that it uses to play with its prey. It is Not the way I've ever envisioned the boogeyman, and whenever I first read that at like age...
So then was Boogeyman
9,
loosely based on that
10,
story? Was Boogeyman loosely based on that? The movie?
No, not the movie versus the book. That's completely different.
There has been a short film, but it was like really low budget.
I just remember scenes of him laying in bed with the closet door open, and you can see the shadows moving.
That's just playing with the whole boogeyman myth that we all have.
Okay.
We all know. Yeah.
And then my very specific one is from one that a lot of people are going to say is a really stupid movie. But it scared me because I don't do crazy people. And
why are you here?
Well, these kind of crazy people I deal with,
We're the
like
good kind of
we're talking like
depends on who you ask.
The Visit. There is a scene where this girl is under the house trying to retrieve something, and this woman starts chasing her under the thing, and she can't find the exit, and she's freaking out.
Yep.
Oh, it's awful.
That was the most
I think that has to deal with your enclosed space.
That was
Probably.
The most, that was the
Oh
most
my God, it was
backfire reaction I ever had showing her anything, too, because I watched that movie with Joe and I thought it was delightful. Like, it's like there's so much humor in it. Like
I didn't see any of it.
And then Katie was just like, no, Katie didn't laugh one
I
moment
can't
in that
quite
movie.
reach
She
the
was
back of the oven.
"No!"
Can you get in there?
The oven scene is my favorite scene. I
But see,
love that.
Heather came up with the notion that we need to
bar
make.
none is like, I'm a Yahtzee master. You can't be a master. That takes 5 years.
But see, that's why Heather came up with the idea that we need to make Attack of the Killer Grannies
From outer space.
from outer space.
Killer Grannies from outer
So,
space.
but no, I was one. That was one movie I wasn't sure I wanted to watch, just because I am not a huge found footage style type person. And I heard it was largely shot that way, so I didn't want to watch it. And then Heather told me she had watched it and went, and we can make Attack of the Killer Grannies from outer space. I was like, okay, I got to see what she's talking about now. And I was like, yeah, she's out there.
I don't know. I guess I was.
Use of depends.
I guess I was kind of a wimp whenever it came to horror movies. So, whenever I first started watching them, it was the Hills Have Eyes, the Ring. There's all of those classic, The Grudge, where the girl flips backwards and yes, oh my gosh, that scared
her so bad. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it did.
But there's classic scenes in there that are just. I guess I get more scared of the jump scares.
Yeah, because it wasn't until last few months that you watched the original Nightmare on Elm Street.
Correct.
When I brought it over.
Correct.
So that's
It was
so
less than a year ago that I
were
watched
close
it.
to
Yeah.
being in the same boat there.
Yeah.
It's
So.
a dinghy.
Anybody else? Anybody else
It's a
got
dinghy.
anything?
We've got a kayak. We're catching up to the yacht. We're in a kayak.
Okay,
I can picture them both in a paddle boat.
for me, it's more of a sound.
A sound.
And they have to get it exactly right for it to work. It's breaking bones.
Oh.
But when it's done right, you can tell it just makes my skin crawl when the sound is actually accurate.
Yeah.
If it's not accurate, it doesn't bother me at all.
It's kind of the same way with Chris when it comes to blood squirting or digging around in a body or something. Like, we'll be watching something and then you hear that and you're like, oh.
Okay, time out.
The one that
So
gets
it's not the sound that scares me. It's the fact that I've been in a situation in my previous career where I actually had my hands in a human being.
Oh, okay.
And it's the smell, the feel, and the sound of it all combined that really doesn't unnerve me, but it just kind of, it's like somebody taking a finger and running it up your back.
Yeah, but if they don't get the sound right, it doesn't bother you. If they get the sound right, it just you can't
It's
explain
just
it.
it just brings me back to that
Yeah, because
one time
I've
where I
broken
had
bones
that.
before, and
The one bone breaking scene that always makes me go, I have to turn it down, is the one in Resident Evil Apocalypse where she slides down the thing and she catches her finger.
Oh, yeah.
she
I'm like-
actually got the sound right on that, and it's
See, I'm kind of the same way when it comes to fingernails. Like in it's Kevin Bacon.
Oh, then it's got to be good.
The Stir of Echoes, yes. Stir of Echoes, where they're showing the actually, what happened to her.
Yeah.
She puts her finger down and it snaps off, and you're like, oh my god. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else?
As far as sound goes, there's
No, we're gonna get Joe's answer here in a bit, and then we're gonna have to.
Your original question was particular scenes, right?
Well, I mean, that were
sounds.
So something in a movie
that
just
triggers it.
hits you to the last nerve. That
Having a little baby sing a nursery rhyme,
Especially if it's got dark undertones.
like "Ring Around the Rosie"
Yeah, that'll do
or
it.
"Twinkle Twinkle Little Star."
What does that look like? You see what it looks like?
No, not really. It's way over there.
It looks like women insides.
Oh, okay.
They're
Okay.
Beats by Lady Gaga.
They're what?
Beats by Lady Gaga.
Beats.
They look
Earbuds.
like a uterus and
Okay.
ovaries.
Female
Oh,
empowerment.
there. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no.
That's intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy Women's
So-
Day.
It was born this way.
Right.
If not, I paid a lot of money to get there.
Right.
Right.
So, what about you, Joe?
I have to say, we was looking at the scariest scenes by some poll or website that was talking about
Right.
different people thinking about that, and it called to mind the thought in any movie, usually boogery with a ghost or something, Paranormal Activity, Blair Witch, and Tale of Two Sisters did it perfectly, where they don't turn away from what's going on. Like someone's coming for you, and it's getting closer, and it's on top of you, and it just that's what would happen, because some people would look away, some people would run. Most times, sometimes you wouldn't.
You can think deer in the headlights.
It would just loom over you, and it'd just be the creeping, growing terror that would just drive you in madness. So I appreciate that when it's done well. So that's something that really hits me personally.
Okay. Excellent. So, there we have it. Lots of questions and answers. Q&A by Joe.
Yes.
Q&A by Joe.
see, and you would have been here too, but you don't ever call, you don't ever write.
I know. So, if you would like us to answer a question for you, you know where you're going to go?
You're going to go to Facebook.
You're going to Facebook. Oh, I was going to say hell, but no.
Well, yeah, that too. I mean, that's pretty much what Facebook is.
Yeah.
Instagram.
Instagram.
Twitter.
You can reach us all on those social media networks and ask us away. Ask Joe if he was scared being here with all of us, because
This is the first.
we're crazy
You
here.
are crazy.
And I really want to see somebody actually watch Snow Sharks and leave
All
a
the way
comment.
through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
on
please
Facebook.
do.
There we go.
Please. We have to see said good.
But if you want to continue to receive us in your mobile device, you can always subscribe to us through iTunes, Google Play, or iHeartRadio, or Spreaker.com, or podcast.com, or just, we're still looking at other areas where we can post our said podcast to get us more people to join our happy little family here.
Join us.
Join us.
Because we all float down here.
we all float down here.
We all float down here. Now, my question, one final question for... Oh, you haven't seen it yet. Never mind. I was going to ask you an it question, but you haven't seen the new one yet, so... When you do, I'll have a question for you. But yes, go ahead and check us out, subscribe to us, and let's see, we'll have something new next week. Probably as we get closer to Halloween, we will start having more Halloween-themed shows. We may revisit the costume show again, because no one ever sent us a picture of costumes. Nobody.
Sad.
Nobody. We didn't get your embarrassing or your most favorite costumes. I didn't even get them from Paul, so...
No.
Nope. So, stay with us and subscribe to us and comment to us, and we will see you all again next week. And as always...
Stay scared.
Fear Central is a product of Thoughtbox Studios. Copyright 2017. For more information, visit thoughtboxstudios.com.